As of Wednesday, the average price of tickets sold on StubHub was $8,600. That's the average price. So if you take the average price, $8,600, times that by the amount of seats in the stadium, $65,000.
Oh yeah, she could totally afford it.
Yeah, she can afford. She can totally afford it. Okay.
Buy the whole thing.
And she'd still have $400 million in change.
She could build her own stadium and host the Super Bowl. And still
That's
have
crazy how much money she has. Think about that for a second. That's like half of her net worth. She can rent out the entire Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Fourscore and 3 years ago, construction in South Dakota finished on Mount Rushmore depicting the 4 former U.S. presidents: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt, and Abe Lincoln. Today, we create our own Mount Rushmore on the topic Super Bowl 58. So the big question is, what's your Rushmore? I'm your host, Troy, and joining me today are 2 absolutely tremendously awesome people. We have Dan, who's kind of been regular on the podcast, aka
Hello.
Dan Buldor. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
And we have someone that's been on 1 episode before, good friend of mine. We got Jenn with 2 N's. Hello, Jenn.
Hello.
Jenn was on... What episode were you on, Jenn?
We did the turtle episode.
Oh, that's right. That was a great one. I forgot about that episode. Go check that episode out. I forget if I had a turtle tattoo before that, or if I got my turtle tattoo after that podcast. I don't remember.
It was after.
It might have been after. Yeah. But we're talking about Super Bowl 58 in Roman numerals. That is LVIII.
Man knows his Roman numerals.
I'm going to be honest with everyone. I had to look it up because I didn't. I forgot if the V is 10, but that's an X. So, but I needed to make sure. So I looked it up. But yeah, we have 49ers at Chiefs. So Chiefs is considered the home team. It's in Vegas this year. Jenn here is actually a 49ers fan. So I'm like, we need to have you on the podcast to talk about some foosball and
Some sport ball.
sport ball. So are you excited, Jenn? Are you looking forward to this one?
I'm just really nervous, to be honest. I think it's a rematch. There's high expectations, so I'm just really nervous.
That's fair. Yeah, I am definitely rooting for the 49ers. Like, I do not want the Chiefs to win. Like, I feel like I
most of
can't.
America.
I just can't stand. Like, I like Patrick Mahomes. Like, I like Andy Reid. Travis Kelce's all right. Is kind of cool. I'm just talking about picks, but besides that, like, I don't like the Chiefs as a team. I can't stand them, you know?
You're
I don't want them
telling
to
me.
win. So yeah. Also, non-related to football at all, but I feel like I need to do a public service announcement. Here in Ohio, you're not required to have a front license plate, but I feel if you drive for Uber or Lyft, like, please get a front license plate, because it's tough to see. Like, you can't see, like, you know how on the app, like, it will say, oh, your driver so and so, license plate number, da 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 da, pulling up in this car. But sometimes that car might be a very popular car that, like, a bunch of people have. and it's very awkward to like have to walk to the back of the car to see the license plate. Anyways, that's just my public service announcement. Just want to get that off my chest.
Why now? Why in the beginning of a Super Bowl talk, Rushmore? What? I'm so confused.
Because it just happened to me like a week ago.
You just had one bad experience with.
Well, no, because the guy drove off. He's like, it was like a Toyota. It was like a gray Toyota, and I was it was cold outside. It was like, I don't know, 20 degrees.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for this car, and none of the license plate, none of the cars have front license plate. So I had to keep on like awkwardly walk and try to find the back, and he must have drove past me at some point, and he's like, "Oh, I'm waiting." I'm like, "I don't see you." He's like, and then he just canceled the Uber, and I had to wait another 10 minutes.
How dare?
Right? So yeah, I just I'm sorry. I just needed to talk about.
This is your platform. This is male therapy.
Exactly. Okay. That felt good. Anyways, let's talk about some football. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, Dan and I don't have really a horse in the race here, but Jenn does, and we're just like two sad Bengal and Bills fans. I'm gonna be working during the Super Bowl, so that's cool. I'm probably gonna play the SpongeBob or the Nickelodeon one on the TV, the Nickelodeon broadcast.
I think that one's gonna be the better stream, honestly.
I do too.
I feel like it's gonna be more fun than whatever whoever's doing the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Do we know who the announcers are?
If it's not Tony Romo, I'd be confused. But
it's probably Joe Buck.
Now, are these picks? That's the real question.
You can pick these people.
Ooh.
CBS lead broadcast team of Jim Nantz, Tony Romo. Yeah.
It's our boy Jim and Tony Romo. Oh my gosh.
I'm surprised. I guess I'm not too surprised. People like Tony Romo as an announcer.
I do.
I think he's okay.
He's a Josh Allen believer. I gotta like.
I like.
I don't even care he played for the Cowboys.
I forget his name. Doesn't matter. Okay. So, if you never listened to an episode of What's Your Rushmore, what are you doing? Go ahead, check out the archive of content. We are on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify. Some of them are going on my YouTube channel at TAC1421 Games, where you can also see me when I was a lot younger do Minecraft and Pokemon stuff. So, but that's neither here or there. We are. I forgot to mention this is episode 45. Would have been kind of cool if it was episode 58, because then like Super Bowl 58. And we're recording this on February 8th, 2024. So a couple days before the Super Bowl. But yeah, if you've never listened to an episode, essentially Mount Rushmore in South Dakota has 4 presidents on there. So we are essentially creating our own Mount Rushmore on, in this case, Super Bowl 58 kind of predictions. And yeah, we each go in an order, a snake draft, and pick our players or announcers or Nickelodeon characters or whatever. And
I didn't know those guys were on the table.
And then plop them up on the Rushmore. And once someone picks something, it's gone. It's yours for the taking. No one else can have it. So that's why we have an order here. And
this is not anarchy.
To determine the order, Dan has a question, I believe, right?
I do. I somehow came prepared to this one. Somehow.
But before we ask that question, Jen, do you have an episode that you want to shout out that you really liked? That you want to be like, hey, go check this episode out? Maybe the turtle one with the three of us?
I feel like I'm biased since I was on that episode, but sure, listen to the Turtle podcast.
I will say last podcast, episode 44, we drafted balls, and it's really funny. Like, it's a funny episode. It's a wild one. It's a wild episode. It's crazy. I've never laughed so hard in my last
I'm gonna have to listen to that one.
5 years or so. I was dying on one of Dan's picks.
I'm glad I could entertain you and just definitely. You, no one else.
Yes. All right. Okay, Dan, go take it away. We'll let Jen try to answer first.
Yeah.
If she gets it wrong, then I will try to answer. If I get it wrong, then you get to pick the order.
Yes. So, the Super Bowl this year is at Allegiant Stadium, also known as the Death Star in Vegas. And you can imagine it's the Super Bowl. There are going to be an absolutely just massive amount of people going. But the real question I have for you guys is, how many seats are there in Allegiant Stadium?
Oh boy.
We will go instead of multiple choice, we will do let's do Price is Right, closest.
What?
Can't go over.
But then you don't have a chance to
I mean, I'm not. That's fine. Whoever gets closer, I am fine with just forfeiting. And
okay.
Y'all can have it. So I would, Jen, would you like to go first?
This is so embarrassing. I have no idea what a state holds.
Would you rather me? I feel like the advantage is on the person that goes second. Because
totally.
So like I'm
go
fine
one
with
over, one under.
Yeah, I'm fine with. I'll attempt to set the line, and you could, if you want, and if you want to just say over under that.
Sure, if you're willing to do that, I'll take that.
Okay. Oh, this is tough. So my thought process here is most baseball stadiums. So hockey arenas hold about 18,000. Most baseball stadiums hold about 45,000. So it's clearly more than that. This is a football stadium.
This is a football stadium, and it's brand new.
This is a football stadium. I know that the Cowboys stadium holded like 100,000 or something ridiculous. I don't think it's that high. I don't think Vegas' stadium is that high. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with 69,000.
69,000. Okay.
Yeah, it's my number. Actually, no. I'm gonna go with 69,420. Bob.
420. Damn. Okay, that is a good choice. I forget if for Price is Right. Do I tell you if you went over or not?
No. So now Jen has the ability basically to guess 69,419 or 69,421.
And if you guys are both over, we will reset and.
That's true. If we're both over, oh, I don't know. Then you win.
Okay, we'll play it that way.
I guess if I was going to start, I was just going to guess 45,000. That was my guess, not knowing anything about stadiums and their capacities.
Well, I guess it would be smart for Jen just to say 0 if she thinks it's over.
Well, I was just going to guess. I could just do over or under, right? So if I just did under, so anything under your number?
Yeah, but then you might be over the...
Oh, I would still be over?
Well...
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Explain it.
Oh no, I get it. I know.
It
You've
is
been trying to
currently
explain those betting rules to me, and I
we
still don't understand the over under.
we started this podcast at on February 8th. It is currently now February 9th for me. So I'm a little tired. What do you think, Jen? Do you think it's less than that or more than that?
I mean, it is Vegas. I'll just go under. I'll guess under.
Okay. How far under?
If you had to guess, what would you say?
Oh, okay. If I was to start the number,
Yeah.
you guess 69. I'll
69,420.
I'll go with 59,000 then.
59,000? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this stadium, when it is hosting an NFL game, can fit 65,000 players.
Oh dang.
Yeah, it is
So
currently
close.
it is expandable to 71,835 seats.
What?
For special events.
This is a special event.
No, this is an NFL event.
Doesn't get any more special than this event.
Than the Super Bowl. But
what event is more special than this? Like
I don't know, just
maybe the Pope getting whatever the process is.
Taylor Swift actually performs at an NFL event? Question mark.
All right. Well, I guess
yeah.
There's a gray area there. Whatever. I'm gonna let Jen have this one, but I feel it's a little rigged. I feel a little rigged right now.
No, not at all.
I think they can fit another 5,000 people in that stadium, like standing room only, and you got the crew
fit
and
another
stuff.
4,420 people.
Yeah. Easy. All right, Jen. What do you want the order to be?
I think I'm gonna go third since now I understand how a snake draft works.
Yes, you go third and fourth.
Yeah, I'll go third, and then Troy could go first, and then Dan could go second.
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that.
This is what I've expected.
There's a lot of pressure on me to make this first pick now because it's a long time. There's a lot of players, announcers, Nickelodeon characters that can be picked before it gets back to me. Okay, cool. So it's going to be Troy, Dan, Jen, and we're going to get to the first round and more shenanigans right after this break.
Okay, everybody. Let's get this over with. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's the thrill of one more kill, the last one to fall. Who never sacrifice their will. Don't ever look back on the world closing in. Beyond the attack with your wings of wind. All the pain will begin. And it's sweet, sweet, sweet victory, yeah. And it's ours for the taking. It's ours for the fight. And it's sweet, sweet, sweet victory, yeah. And the war is ours to
The Wikipedia page is pretty extensive. It tells you what kind of grass the stadium is. It also tells you how many parking spots the stadium has.
I heard there's like no like the only parking lot is like 2 miles away. That's what I've heard. Is that true?
There are 2,700 parking spots directly surrounding the stadium and 6,000 in proximity to it. So that is probably the 2 miles away.
Well, if you're going to the
35
stadium, if you're going to the stadium, I hope your Uber has a front license plate.
Or just get in a car, assert dominance.
Yeah, or walk, or parachute.
Yeah. Honestly, just take the
Free
tram.
fall.
I know
Free fall.
Allegiant Stadium is literally connected to the tram system in Vegas,
Yeah.
which is insane. I love Vegas. So if you want,
All right,
if
let's
we want
get
to talk
rolling.
Vegas,
Let's get rolling here. I'm gonna leave this all in. That was a good discussion that we had about parking spaces. So we're back, and it is round 1. I guess it's up to me to make the first pick. So also you say 65,000 people. How many beers do you think are going to be sold?
like
That's the real
beers
question.
total, or
Yeah,
oh god,
because I would have to imagine that a good, I want to say a good like 70 to 80% of the people are probably of age. Do you think that's too high?
no, I would assume most
I feel
people
like it's
going
pretty
are,
reasonable, right?
and
Yeah.
especially since like if we're not counting like some of the open bars that would be open in like the suites.
Yeah. Like, yes, not
Like-
everyone drinks, but I
Not
mean,
everyone drinks, but if you assume everyone is there, and
you assume everyone averages at least 2, 3.
yeah. Well, because the reason I would say 2 is probably the closer answer is because I know a lot of stadiums do impose a like drink cap. That's hard
I don't think Vegas does that.
I don't know. Like I've been to
They
to events.
encourage. They like you walk through the door and they're like drink. They literally hand people beer. For
It is Vegas. They do give
It's
you
Vegas.
free booze. They give you booze for just existing. So
yeah.
fair enough.
Okay.
So, yeah,
all right. Let's get
maybe 2 or
rolling
3?
here. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's go.
Oh, we're just going?
I have the
Okay.
first pick, and
Yeah, you do.
and there, man, I know if I don't pick, there's 2 people I want to have, and I know if I don't pick the other one, whichever one I don't pick, I know is going to get picked. So it's tough for me to decide which one I want to go with.
Okay.
I'm going to go with George Kittle as my first pick. George Kittle, he's my favorite player on either team. Number 85, tight end. He is. It feels like he's been in the NFL longer than he actually has. On his site here, it says that he's been in the league for 7 years, 7 seasons. But it just feels like he's been. It feels like more like 10 or like somewhere in the range of like 8 to 12, I guess.
Yeah,
So-
I actually agree with that. It feels like he's been around for a long time. Has he only played in SF?
Yes.
Or so that's been his only team. So he was drafted by the 49ers and he's been there the entire time.
Yeah, he went to Iowa, it looks like. It also doesn't
I don't know,
say
I don't-
on here how old he is, which is kind of annoying because I want to know that information. Yeah, I don't know.
Wikipedia says he's 30.
Okay. Makes sense. So he's my age. That's cool. Kind of.
Makes me feel
I,
young.
I keep forgetting that I just turned, like, I just had a birthday.
Oh, you're 31.
I'm
Happy
31
belated.
now. Thank you. Yes. He's only had, it feels like more, but he's only had 37 touchdowns in his career, which I just
Total?
like assumed that he had more. Yeah.
What? I would have thought this man at least has more touchdowns than Josh Allen gets in a season.
Well, to be
Yeah.
fair, I think the next bad years though.
He's
been in his bad years? What?
one of the crazy things though, he only has 4 fumbles and only 2 in his entire career, and only 2 of them were lost. So he only has, which is kind of crazy, because he really goes for yards after the catch, right? I mean, a lot of the 49ers offense, like that's kind of like what they're built on, is like yards after catch and getting people in like creative openings, right? And then have them run for more yards. But he really fights for at like every yard, you know? So I'm surprised that he's only had 4 fumbles in his career. Yeah. But I'm kind of shocked that he only has 37 touchdowns. He's only had 6 this year. And last year he had 11, which is, he had a really good year last year, I feel. This is not including playoffs though. But
Yeah,
I
this is
just
regular season, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So like the reason that I picked him, that I'm picking him number 1, he's the captain on the team. I feel like he has a lot of energy. Like he brings a lot of energy, right? He's such an important player. Even when he's not getting receptions, he's still like a very good blocker. He's like an energy guy. I'm pretty sure he's going to be the one calling the coin toss. So that's another thing that's pretty important. Because he's one of the captains, and the away team is the one that calls the toss.
Yes.
And I feel like
So he will
he's
be
the
the
most
reason you.
tenured captain. He's been 6 years. This is his 6th season as a captain. That's also crazy too. He's been in the league for 7 years, and this
He's
is
been a
his
captain for
6th
6 of
time
them.
6th year being a captain. Like that just
Comes
shows.
on, rookie, does his rookie season, and then he's just like, yeah, we like
Yeah,
you,
I mean
captain.
that just like shows how like good of a teammate he is, right?
Yeah.
And fans and the 49ers fans like love him, right? I mean, Jen,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll let you talk about him a little bit. Like, what are your thoughts on George Kittle?
No, I agree. I just feel like he's just so positive, even during the Lions game when we were down 17 points, you know? Like, I think he was just like, I'm going to talk about how they almost had us. Like, he was just so positive, and I think that energy is infectious. He could have been down in the dumps of, oh, we're down 17, we're not going to make it. Of just having that positivity, I think, I'm sure in the locker room, his positivity just helped turn it around.
100%, I agree. Dan, your thoughts on good old George Kittle?
Like the pick, like the man. Good choice.
He's
Yeah,
never
I feel
played a full season. I'm just noticing.
He's always been injured, right? He always gets randomly.
He's
injured,
always
right?
he's always had, because there's 17 games now, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, you play 17.
There's
it's
18 weeks. Got it. So he played 16 this year, so he missed 1 game. And then, oh no, he played all the games in 2018. He played 16 games, and that was still only a 17-week season, 16-game season. So never mind. But he missed half the season in 2020. Well, actually, I don't really know how 2020 worked. No, they did the full year in 2020. Wait, no, I forget. Whatever, doesn't
In
matter.
2020, they did the
Yeah.
full year. I mean,
Did
I
they do the
know
whole
I know
year?
some games got pushed. They
Yeah.
got moved around, but I think everyone played at least 17 games, unlike
Got it.
last year.
Unlike last year, where the Bills and the Bengals only played
16.
16. Rigged.
16 and what, a quarter?
All 3 of us, now that I remember, all 3 of us were watching that game together when that happened.
Yeah. I mean, actually, we could probably find out who won the comeback player of the year. 'Cause
Oh,
I think
no,
honors are going on right now, or they just finished, or something like that.
yeah, it's all posted online.
For my second pick, I'm picking
Damar
Hamlin.
Hamlin.
Damar
Damar
Hamlin.
Hamlin.
Yeah, did he win comeback player? Because like this was probably
did
he did win.
he did not.
Oh, wow.
Did Flacco get it?
Did Flacco then?
Did.
That's crazy.
Wow, insane. Well,
So this year-
he did deserve it.
This year, I think, was the biggest, um, like toss up, like where there was like two clear players that could have got it, and I don't think either one's like a wrong answer. The other year that happened was when it was Peyton Manning and Adrian Peterson. I forget which year it was, but they both came back from like pretty crazy injuries. I think Peyton Manning had like a neck injury or something, and Adrian Peterson had I think it was like an ACL injury. And they were number 1 and 2 for the MVP that year. So one of them got MVP and the other one got comeback player of the year, which is just like insane. But like besides that comeback player of the year, I think this one was like the one where it's like, wow, I think either guy can get it and would deserve it, because it's like, yeah, I think it makes sense. All right, we have anything more to talk about George Kittle?
I hope he gets a touchdown.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, anytime. So he only had 6 touchdowns this year. I think there was one game where he had like 3 in one game. I forget if I remember correctly. I guess I could
I
look
think there
up
was.
there.
I can't remember the game, but I think you're right.
I think it has it here. Yeah, it was against the Cowboys, week 5.
Huh.
He had only 67 yards, but 3 touchdowns.
Damn.
Yeah. And he was wearing that fuck the Cowboys shirt or whatever that was.
I remember that.
That was so good. So on my Rushmore, I'm going to have him in that shirt. Fuck the Cowboys shirt.
The Zeiss ads that we see in the Bay.
Huh?
Kittle's on a bunch of the, like, he's wearing, like, he does like a glasses deal here in the Bay for like Zeiss or.
Oh, yeah, I've seen him
I
wear
forget
those.
whatever brand it is.
Yeah, sure. He'll be wearing.
You're not gonna do that.
He'll be wearing. He'll be wearing those glasses as well. But I want to have him doing his like a little first down celebration that he does. You guys know what I'm talking about. You've seen it happen.
I approve of this.
So that's my first pick. I'm gonna have it in the 1 slot. All right. So now it is Dan's turn.
Yes. For me, my first pick. I mean, if you listen to the last episode, or yeah, the last time I was on for the Super Bowl, it was what, LA and KC last time.
It was
What was last year? What was last year?
Were you not on
Eagles-
last year's?
Oh yeah, it was Eagles. It was Eagles KC, and KC won,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yes. And I went down a fun path on mine, so I'm gonna do a similar one this year.
Okay.
Where for my first pick, I'm taking the man, the myth, the legend, Andy Reid.
Good
I'm
pick.
taking Andy Reid, the head coach. Honestly, I really respect him. I really respect what Andy Reid has done for the Chiefs and the organization. Man is an absolute legend. I wish him and the Chiefs all the best luck losing to the 49ers and to the Bills. All like 3 times. The Bills are going to have to freaking play the Chiefs 2 or 3 times. And every year they make the Bills play the Chiefs
Yeah, it's no fun.
in regular season and postseason. Just happens. Yeah, honestly, yeah, Andy Reid. Nothing more to say. Man's already a legend. Get the man some nuggies.
Yeah, he's a great coach. Like, I feel like there's some coaches around the league where I'm just like, I really wish this guy was my head coach.
Oh yeah, and I feel like Andy Reid is that coach where I'm like, if this man was the Bills head coach, I feel like the script would have been flipped between KC and the Bills, but because they're both teams are very good. But I mean, the Chiefs just keep on winning, and I think it's what Andy Reid has done, along with the rest of his coaching staff.
He's been the head coach of the Chiefs for 11 years?
Yeah, apparently.
It's been that long?
Yeah,
I feel like it wasn't like
2013.
it doesn't feel like that long ago when he was the Eagles coach.
Did he? Did Andy Reid get released by the Eagles, or did
I
he
think
just
it was a mutual, one of those like mutual, like we're gonna go a different direction type of thing.
one of the? I mean, that the Eagles do that. That is their strategy of just like, well, this ain't working. Like, it doesn't work once and they're gone.
Yeah,
Um, so I don't blame them if they just went, yep, we're just
he
moving
was
on.
in the Eagles organization for 14 seasons.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know. He's coached in 6 Super Bowls and 13 championship games. Eight in the NFC. So that would have been Eagles, and then so 8 NFC Eagle championship games, and 5 with the Chiefs.
So I'm reading his biography right now,
It's
and honestly, I think
3 rings.
the
Or
one
no, not
stat
3 rings. He has 3 NFL Coach of the Year titles.
does he? Okay,
2? Does he
Yeah.
have? Does he have 2
So-
Super Bowl rings?
he's got three.
he
Three-time
3?
Super Bowl champion. He won with the Eagles.
I don't think he did.
Yeah. No. So he beat the
I
Eagles.
don't think he did with the Eagles.
Because he beat.
No.
I'm just reading it right now. This is a great podcast episode. By the way,
This is a
Just
phenomenal.
reading.
Jen, what do you think about Andy Reid?
Yeah, as we read.
I don't really know much about him. I just know what he won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. He won one with the Chiefs, and then I think for him to win one against his former team last year seems pretty solid to me.
I don't think he won with the. I don't think he won with the Eagles. I think you're both wrong. Just
Yeah, Reid
for
is
the
a
record.
3-time Super Bowl champion. In 2019, his squad beat the San Francisco 49ers 31-20. Just 3 seasons later, in 2022, he led his team 38-35 over the Eagles. But it doesn't say
That's
what
2.
how he won the other one. That's the thing. He said he won it 3 times, but
But you're saying if he was on the Eagles for
He wasn't coaching the
One.
Eagles
for
back
what,
when they
13
won.
years, he must have.
he
So
must
they
have been
must
on
have
the
won
coaching
that
staff.
Nick Foles year. Yeah,
But
He must.
but maybe
No,
not
that-
his coach, I guess. But
he might have been
On the
like an
staff?
assistant coach or something on a team that won.
Yeah.
But as a head coach, he only has 2 Super Bowl rings.
okay,
Yeah. From the
As
look
far
of
as
it
I
as a
know.
head coach.
Because he
But I
did
guess
not. That's one of the reasons why he left the Eagles was because they kept on going to the NFC Championship and they went to some Super Bowls, but they couldn't win.
but I guess that's still a flex though to not be made head coach of the team you were on, and then to leave, become head coach, and then beat your former team.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, this is that's the one thing I forgot. I remember when I moved here
Okay,
in
I
2019.
found it. Andy Reid has won 3 Super Bowl titles, 2 as head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, and 1 as an assistant coach for the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, so it wasn't the Eagles.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was definitely. I knew that. I'm giving myself a pat on the back right now. Cool. I do like the pick. I again. I mean, we might talk about the other coach on another
I don't
pick.
know.
Find out. But I think both coaches are amazing coaches. I mean, I like the Bengals coach, but part of me feels like the Bengals would be better if they had either of these 2 coaches. That's all I'm going to say. So, Dan, what are you going to do with your Rushmore?
I am going to put Andy Reid at the George Washington spot with just his basically he's got a mugshot on the NFL website basically, and I want that man just there with the I want him in the Snow Bowl game that he just did against the Dolphins, just like frozen.
What do you
That's how I
think the
want
odds are of Andy Reid calling an onside kick in this game?
it. Depends. Are they down by 1 or 2?
Well, no. Okay, so like in a non-fourth quarter comeback situation where they need an onside kick, like, do you think he will call? I feel if there's a prop bet, I would bet the over on like 0.5. And I don't think it's going to be in the fourth. Well, like, I don't think it's going to be in the fourth quarter. I think there's going to be an onside kick
Before the fourth?
sometime in the first 3 quarters.
I would assume that he would probably do a trick play somewhere in there. I don't know if he would do an onside. I feel like it would be a fake punt or a fake extra point, or not. Fake
They're
extra
really
point,
good with
fake
laterals
field
too. They
goal.
do a lot of lateral stuff.
They did almost beat the Bills that one time by doing a lateral. So
Yeah. Cool. All right, Jen, time for your back-to-back picks.
For my first pick, I'm gonna go with Christian McCaffrey,
Nice.
and shout out to Troy's mom for getting a McCaffrey jersey the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, she we were at the mall and we walked into a Columbus Blue Jackets store, which is a hockey team. And I was looking at some of the stuff and I hear over my shoulder she's like, "Do you guys carry any 49ers jerseys?" And the guy's just like, no, this is a Columbus Blue Jackets store. Yeah, anyways. But we ended up finding like a jersey store in the mall, and she got a Christian McCaffrey jersey. So, yeah.
No, that jersey looked really good on her.
Yeah, I agree. I sent you the photo when she was trying it on, and then we were there for another, like, I want to say 20, 30 minutes. She was trying like other stuff on, and I kept telling her, I'm like, just get the McCaffrey jersey. It looks good. He'll be on the team for at least another year. I don't know. Do you know his contract? Either of you?
I don't.
Okay.
yeah, I don't off the top of my head. No.
I will look it up, but keep talking about Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. Well, I know Troy. No, Troy also knows my feelings on him. I always feel like he's very fragile. I just feel like other teams run 2 to 3 running backs, and the Niners just almost exclusively run him.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, he's gonna get hurt. He's gonna get hurt, and knock on wood, he's been very healthy this year for us. I just remember when we traded for him, I thought it was a really bad choice. I thought we were just
Really?
throwing away. I thought we were throwing away all our draft picks after Trey Lance. And then I just remember even online, I think ESPN gave the grade like a C minus, and I agreed with them at the time, but it's just really turned out for us. And then
I feel the thing is, I feel like with McCaffrey, it really opened up what SF could do, especially last year when I feel like it was last year when they went through 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So like last year when they basically had to rely on McCaffrey taking snaps. I feel like even
which is
though
insane.
yeah, which honestly that last year for the 49ers, that was nuts going through that many quarterbacks. But just be like, I feel like what McCaffrey brought to San Francisco really solidified them as the number 1 offense in the league, in my mind. Like, over the Bills, over the Chiefs, over the Bengals. Just like, if all teams are healthy and they're playing their starters, honestly, SF with their entire team is insanely good. And I think McCaffrey really changed that for them, because before they were hyper reliant on their wide receivers, like just being able to get the ball downfield. They didn't really run the ball too much.
Yeah.
It was basically they were copying what the format that the Chiefs started with, by trying to go more on to throwing to the tight end. So, and I mean, Kittle was great and is still great, but being able to let him not have Kittle not be your like main source of getting yards, or relying on all of your wide receivers to basically just be always open. Being able to have a solid running back that is always a threat, can catch a ball, is extremely quick. I feel like really changed how SF could design plays and play football.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys remember that game last year where he caught a touchdown,
Yeah.
ran it in for a touchdown, and then threw a touchdown. Like, that was just amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I agree. He also only has 4 lost fumbles. He's fumbled 12 times in his career, but lost 4 of them. Yeah, I think he had a pretty good season this year. 21 touchdowns, 14 rushing, 7 receiving. He missed 1 game, so 16 games.
Mm-hmm. And then he had 17 consecutive games where he scored a touchdown.
Yeah, dating back to last year, right?
Yeah, including the postseason.
But that's insane. Yeah, his like anytime touchdown was just like a lock for so long. It was just continuously bet on him anytime touchdown. It looks like I did find, as far as I can tell, he's on the team at least next year, but then it looks like he's a free agent after, like in 2026, like the 2025-2026 season. It looks like he's a free agent, as far as I can tell.
And then tonight, I guess they announced he was the Offensive Player of the Year.
He was the Offensive Player of the Year?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huh. Who was in the running for that? I feel like the Dolphins running back also had a phenomenal season. I forget his name.
Oh, Mostert?
Mostert.
I know Tyreek Hill was on the list for Offensive
I feel like
Player
both
of the
those
Year.
guys had phenomenal seasons. Whatever. Yeah, no, this is a really good pick. He was on my list. I was gonna probably pick him 3rd or 4th round.
That low, huh?
I mean, he's extremely important to the team. I feel it kind of it depends on, like, if they get the ball in his hands enough times, that's kind of the key. I feel like games they win, they're just giving him the ball, and he's just doing good stuff.
Right.
He had, he averaged 5.4 yards per carry. I mean, that's insane. For a running back to be able to do that. That's a lot. I mean, that's like, you just give him the ball twice and there's a first down. Is kind of what that's saying. Yeah. Great pick. I like it. Anything else we want to add about Christian McCaffrey? No? Okay. Don't all speak at once.
I'll try my best.
Okay. What are you gonna do with your Rushmore there, Jen?
I think I'm gonna put him in the number 3 slot. I don't know if you remember during the Lions game in the 4th quarter when he bounced off his head and then just came up, and then he just got up and he held up his one finger and he was just like, "Hey, I just need a minute." While I think any average person would have been paralyzed after that.
Oh,
but
great.
I'm gonna have him in a number 3 spot, just holding up his one finger, saying, "Give me a minute."
Nice. Another thing I just realized is he has been in the league he was in the same draft class as George Kittle. So but he's younger than Kittle. Because I think he only went to Stanford for 1 year, maybe. Maybe 2. I don't know. But he's younger than Kittle. Yeah, cool. So I guess it's time for your second pick.
Perfect. Okay. I think it's pretty obvious. I'm gonna go with Taylor Swift's favorite number 13, Brock Purdy.
Nice. That was going to be
Ooh.
my first pick. I was debating between Brock Purdy or George Kittle. So, yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about good old Brock?
I mean, I feel like he's also really surprised me. I think, especially in the last game,
Yeah.
I think coming back down 17, I really like to think he just really silenced the haters. I just feel like all those people that were calling him a system quarterback, a game manager, I really think the way he scrambled, playing from behind, his poise, I really believe he just showed them that he is an elite quarterback, that he can come back and win in big games.
Yeah, I agree. He had a pretty solid season. I don't think he's an elite quarterback. I think he's somewhere in that 10 to 15 range. I feel like I'd rather have probably somewhere between 10 to 15 other quarterbacks over him, but he fits the system so well. That's one of the things about quarterbacks. Like, I mean, like Joe Burrow's my quarterback. I don't want anyone else besides Joe Burrow. But who? Let's think of someone that's kind of like, it's good for, like, he fits the team. You know, he fits like Tua. I feel like Tua is probably not necessarily like a top 5 quarterback, but he is great for the Dolphins, right? Like he just kind of meshes well with that system.
Yeah.
And I think Brock Purdy is like that. I think if you put Brock Purdy on a different team, I don't think he'd be as good as he is on this team. So,
Yeah, I want to echo that point because I feel like I've talked about this about Brock Purdy. Yeah, I mean he is a good quarterback. I'm excited I've seen him play live. I'm excited to see what he does in the Super Bowl. Did not watch any of the conference games because I was very salty about the Bills.
fair.
So like I did not see the comeback he did against the Lions, which ripped the Lions. I wanted them to go all the way. But yeah, like basically that, like everything that you've said, I really want to echo. Like is Brock Purdy a good quarterback? Yes. Is he the best quarterback in the league? No. If you put him on any other team, I don't think he would be as successful as he is here, just because of, I mean, look at the talent around him.
Yeah.
If you put any of the top 5 quarterbacks, like if you put Lamar Jackson on the 49ers, absolute insanity.
They would be
Tua,
crazy.
like heck, even if you put
Oh my
Tua, like
gosh.
I think I really, like, as a Bills fan, I really appreciate Tua and the Dolphins as a whole because they are a really good team. They're a really insanely good team. They really have the talent. I just think the team overall is fragile. And
they just had so many injuries this year.
They had a lot of injuries, and I feel like they let winning get to them. And I feel like that's just been an issue with the Dolphins for the last couple of years. Is like they win a couple games, they get ahead in the race, and then it just comes back to bite them. But I don't know if that's a player's issue or a coaching issue, however it be. If you put, like, honestly, if you put any other top 5, top 10 quarterback into the SF scheme, I feel like that team would be unstoppable just because of how good the offense is.
Definitely.
And That's not a slight on Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy definitely fits the system and he does a really good job in it. And honestly, I think he's just perfect for what the 49ers need right now, which is a quarterback on a rookie contract.
I think last year, especially when they got McCaffrey, everyone's just like, yeah, you can just throw literally any quarterback. Like you can throw just like a college quarterback or a backup quarterback or anyone into the system and it would fit. But that clearly was not the case. Like,
I mean, they did almost prove that last year. That going through 4 quarterbacks, that they could put anyone behind there and it would work.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if Brock Purdy won an MVP. You know, I can see him. I can see him winning an MVP or 2 in his career. So like that's like clearly you have to be a good player to do that. I just don't think he would be able to do that in another system, in a different system. That's not with the players that he has around him now. Yeah, I mean solid pick, Jen. I'm curious. Would either of you have picked George Kittle if I didn't pick George Kittle?
He actually was not on my list.
Wow.
But like I think that's just where the Niners have so many good players.
Yeah.
That he just didn't make my list because there's just so many good players.
That's fair.
You think I'm picking players?
So I should have gone with Brock Purdy then, is what you're saying. One thing I jotted down in my notes. I don't have too many notes for all these people. I'm just kind of like looking at the page and just kind of talking on memory. But one thing I jotted down that is super interesting to me. If you had to guess between Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey, who weighs more? Who do you think weighs more between the two of them?
Oh,
I guess I would think McCaffrey.
Because McCaffrey's super built, right? Like he just looks like he has a ton of muscle on him, which he does.
The man's strong.
The man is strong. But
I don't know if he's Jalen Hurts strong, but
according to online here, Brock Purdy's 220 and McCaffrey's 210. I mean, Purdy does his height. He's 3 inches taller, but he doesn't look super muscular, if that makes sense. Like McCaffrey just like looks is built, right? Like so I was kind of shocked at that. I mean, granted, it's only 10 pounds, but like, that surprised me. I did not think. I thought, yeah.
Yeah, you thought Christian McCaffrey was going to be way heavier just based on how, I mean, again, the man is smaller than Purdy.
Yeah,
so
I thought
that 10 pounds is spread out across how many other inches Brock Purdy is taller.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing, that the 3 inches height difference, like that does matter, obviously. But I thought McCaffrey was like 240. Like that's the way he looks. Is like
Oh yeah, just his arms and his neck and the rest of his body. I would think he was much heavier.
Yeah. Oh well. There's a little stat for you that you can ask your friends when you're watching the Super Bowl. Who, especially when they're like lined up next to each other. Which one who do you think weighs more between those two? Cool, great pick. I think we've talked about Brock enough. What you gonna do with your Rushmore?
I'm gonna put him in the second slot, and then I don't know if you guys remember, but when he was playing against the Packers and it was pouring rain. There's that like little video of him. He had so much time to throw where he was able to wipe his hand, his throwing hand, before he threw the ball. So I'm just gonna have Brock Purdy in the number 2 spot, wiping his hands.
That's great.
Okay.
I do not remember that, but that's funny. How many games would you say that you watched this year? 49ers games.
I mean, I guess I would say not enough, but I mean, tried to watch every game, but I wasn't able to watch all of them.
Got it.
The 10 a.m. games were hard to watch because I was like asleep most of the time or still in bed.
Sure, yeah.
Get used to it. Get used to it.
That's one of the
Like-
things about the East Coast is it's at like 1 o'clock. So
That's the thing. Like I'm used to it being at 1 o'clock, so the 10 a.m. games I am perfectly okay with because honestly, it is great. You just wake up, you roll out of bed, make some coffee, and you're watching
Yeah.
a Bills game or you're watching an East Coast team game.
I
And
mean,
it
I'm
is
not a morning
so nice
person,
being-
so
yeah, it's so
sometimes
nice
I
being
would
done
miss
with
like the
football.
first quarter. I would miss like the first quarter of the or first half of the Bengals game just because I'm too tired to get out
Didn't
of
want to
bed.
wake up.
But now there's like no excuse. Like if I'm not up by 1 o'clock, yeah. So
This Super Bowl is gonna go to like 1 a.m. probably for you.
I have no
Because
idea.
like that's like the worst part about living on the East Coast is that like football. I mean, again, it starts at a reasonable time, but it ends late if you're watching like a West Coast team.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try to find a place to go to watch the rest of the game. I'll figure it out. All right, Dan, it is time for your second pick.
Sweet. So for my second pick, I am gonna go with not a player, but another coach, and he's the coachest with the mostest. Kyle Shanahan.
Cool. I'm glad you picked
Yeah.
this. I'm glad you picked him so we can talk about him. 'Cause-
Easy pick.
And if we talked about Andy
Like-
Reid, like I'd want to talk about Kyle Shanahan as well.
Oh
But,
yeah, no, this man
you know.
is insane. I like seeing how well. I mean, granted, SF has been a good team for a while. Like I remember before Shanahan was on San Francisco, it was John Harbaugh, the other
Yep.
Harbaugh brother, the one that's now working for the Chargers.
Jim.
Yeah, Jim. Because like I remember that Super Bowl where it was the
The
Brother
Ravens.
Bowl.
Yep.
The Ravens SF, and the Ravens ended up winning that one. And honestly, after that moment, seeing them fire Harbaugh and then hire Shanahan, this man has taken a team that was already decent and just made it probably one of the most elite offensive teams in the entire league.
Definitely.
I don't know how the heck this man found the money. Like him and I gotta give a shout out to their general manager or whoever the heck it is, because I swear the SF's budgeting for how they're paying all of these freaking all-stars to play on their team, it baffles me.
It doesn't make that much sense.
I mean,
How they-
it does make sense when your quarterback is making less than. He's making less than some of the workers at the stadium, which feels bad, but
It does.
that's off topic. But yeah, no, Shanahan, I give him the most respect. That man took a team that was already good, made them probably the best team is the best team in the NFC without a doubt, and they've been that way for the last like 4 or 5 years. And I again, this man deserves all the praise. Like he's done such a good job for the 49ers, and I kind of wish I had Shanahan or Andy Reid as the Bills head coach.
I mean, just with
feel
like the
they would
play
make
calling alone,
everything
he's
better.
he's made like especially the second and third wide receivers on the team look like number ones for other teams. Like they're good players, don't get me wrong, but just with the play calling alone, he just like gets guys just wide open with the schemes and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Is Shanahan the offensive play caller?
I mean, it's a lot of. I know it's like a lot of his designed plays. I don't know if he's
If he's calling them.
actually calling them, but I'm not actually sure who calls the plays. Jen, do you know who calls the plays? No.
Oh no.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm trying to look it up and I can't find it, so not sure.
I just see a bunch of offensive line assistant coaches on the.
I know, yeah, that's not really helping.
So many assistants, but yeah, there's no
They're-
one here
yeah.
that's like offensive coordinator. It must
I
be
want to say that
Shanahan.
I want to say that he probably calls the plays. Like
Yeah.
my gut wants to say that he's the play caller.
I would probably guess that too.
Yeah.
Now
I
I'm
give it
not
to
as
him.
sure. I'm not as sure about that as I was about Andy Reid not winning with the Eagles. But yeah, I don't know. Who do you
Jen,
think is
how
a
do you
better
feel about
coach
my pick?
between the two?
Oh.
I mean, they're both phenomenal coaches, but like, who do you think's a better coach?
Oh, between Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan?
Yeah,
That's tough.
I mean, one's
They're
already a
both-
Hall of
they're both-
Famer, right?
Oh yeah. No,
And-
Andy Reid has already solidified himself as like a
Yeah.
Hall of Fame coach.
Like a
I-
top
And he's
3
old.
coach.
Career, so it's like hard. Like I feel like we could only compare after like Shanahan retires, I guess.
Yeah,
So then
Yeah.
length of time to compare.
Yeah, and I feel like with Shanahan, because I feel like he has more to prove at this Super Bowl than Kansas
Mhm.
City does and Andy Reid. So I think Kyle Shanahan will probably have a better game plan going for the Super Bowl this year. So I would, as much as I would love to say I would pick Andy Reid, I think Shanahan is just more unique and special, and I would probably pick him as my more favorite coach.
According to NBC Sports, Kyle Shanahan is the play caller.
Ooh, okay. Good to know. So we can
So-
blame him when the 49ers lose like 87-4.
Yeah. Usually, like when you watch the game, if you see someone that has like the play sheet and is constantly talking into the microphone, looking at the play sheet, you can kind of guess that's like the play caller. And I
Yeah.
feel like I've seen him walking around with the play sheet and kind of like hiding his mouth so he doesn't like mouth the plays on camera or whatever.
Nah, let the world see it.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of agree with that. What you guys just said is you kind of have to you can't really say right now who the better coach is, but I think only time will tell.
How do you feel about Shanahan, Jen? He's your he's your head coach. How do you like him? How do you feel about him?
I do really like him. I think he's stellar. I feel like his little coaching tree, where his offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, like 3 of them went on to get head coaching jobs. So I think that's a good reflection of him.
Yeah. Do you think anyone from the coaching staff is going to leave after the season? Like they're going to get poached?
That I don't know, but maybe just because we've had such good like defensive coordinators, I don't really like the guy we have now, like Steve Wilkes. I just feel like we have all these studs on our defense, but I just feel like they're not bringing the pressure. So whatever he's doing, I just don't like it. So I don't think he's going to get poached, like the 2 other defensive coordinators we've had. And then I don't even really know who our offensive coordinator is, so I can't like speak to him.
Like from what I'm seeing, you guys you have like you have a run game coordinator and offensive line coordinator.
It's so weird.
But-
There's not like an offensive, like a key offensive
the-
coordinator guy.
Oh,
There
for
is
the
no one on. Yeah, I'm looking through the entire coach sheet, and the only people that have offense in their title
Yeah.
are like offensive quality control and
Like
maybe
the
it's Shanahan.
On the-
assistant coaches.
yeah. For the Chiefs, like there's a clear guy. It says offensive coordinator Matt Nagy. I don't know how to say his name, but like it clearly says offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, but there isn't anything on
I see that.
Yeah.
Run game coordinator, offensive line, and then special teams coordinator. But then there's Steve Wilkes, defensive coordinator.
I mean, teams can run however the heck they want. That's the nice
Exactly.
thing about this. Is
Yeah.
like there's no rules on you can't
have to
have your
have.
defense. Like you have to have a defensive coordinator. It can't be one of your existing coaches.
Do you
So
even have
that-
to have a coach? Like,
I feel like you need at least a head coach.
what about like a
'cause you need
player coach?
Because you need at least someone to be able to throw challenge flags, and that is the
That's
head coach.
true. That's true.
So you do need at least one coach on the team.
If a coach
Everyone
gets
else is
kicked
just-
out of a game, like does someone else get the challenge flag thing?
like if a head coach gets kicked off, who does
Yeah.
it go to?
Yeah. That's a
Like
good-
this is like the presidential list of like we go down the list of who has presidential power after the president dies or something like that.
Yeah.
like-
Speaking of challenge flags, there was a montage of Bill Belichick throwing challenge flags, and it was one
I've
of the
seen that. Yeah.
funniest videos ever. Like,
Is it just him being like sassy and throwing him to
yeah,
the ground?
there's one where he like waits for the ref to like walk near him, and he just chucks the challenge flag at the guy's feet.
But he always looks so grumpy. He's always making a grumpy face when he does it.
It's so
too, though.
funny.
Dude, he's gonna
Oh.
enjoy retirement.
Gosh, that's right.
I'm so shocked. I'm
he's
shocked no
longer
one picked him up.
I
Well,
think he's too old school. I just don't think he's appealing
Yeah.
to people.
yeah, I agree. He's also a tough guy to I'm sure to be around, for teams to like the president and stuff of the team, the owners to kind of manage or to be around, you know.
I think like when you're winning, it's all fine where they'll just
Yeah.
tolerate you. But when
Yeah.
you're not winning, they're not going to tolerate that.
Yeah. And he hasn't proven that he can win without Brady, right? So like,
Yeah.
Brady has proven he can win without Belichick. So
yeah, exactly. Like if the Patriots looked better the last two seasons, then maybe someone picks him up, but they didn't look good at all. At times they looked very bad, like the one game where I forget the guy's name, their quarterback, like they could have just kneeled it and gone to overtime, and they threw a Hail Mary.
for
I
it.
think it was against the Raiders, I want to say. And they just lose the game. Like there's no reason for you to lose that game in that situation. And part of
I
that
feel
has
like-
to
I
fall
feel
on the
like-
coach.
yeah, I feel like Belichick, like again, also with it's kind of harping back to my feelings with McDermott as well, because I feel like they both do this. Is that they both kind of play favorites with their players.
Every coach does that.
But like to an extreme where it doesn't make sense at times, because I as one of the fellow Patriot haters, I'm very happy that they're doing bad right now.
Sure.
But I'm also on the
Hello?
flip side where I've been there.
Oh,
Hi,
Jen
Jen.
was gone. Hi, Jen.
But yeah, I've been on the flip side too, because like the Bills have been bad my entire childhood, and they only got good recently. Because the Bills were good. I was born, then they're bad. So I only know the bad side of the Bills. And so now seeing where the Patriots are, I kind of see where, like, because I've heard the stories back before I was born, where the Patriots were kind of the beat stick of the NFC or the AFC, because they weren't great in the 90s. They
Okay,
were
all right,
in the
okay.
80s, but
We're not talking.
But anyways,
we're
so-
talking about Super Bowl 58.
I got a lot of football talk, man.
Let's reel it back in.
We're just gonna reel it back in. All right, fine.
Have you discussed what your Rushmore is yet for your pick?
Yeah, I'm gonna put Shanahan at the Abe Lincoln spot. He's just gonna be standing there, being a head coach, kind of looking at Andy Reid, being like, "I'm gonna win."
Sounds good. All right. Jen, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
All
right.
She has returned.
She has returned with her book on her head. All right. Time for my second pick.
Oh, God,
I don't have Brock.
Brock.
I don't have Brock
Let's
Purdy
give it
yet.
so long.
Or I can't pick Brock Purdy.
Purdy for you.
Okay. For my second pick, I am taking not a player, not a coach, not a broadcaster. Well, kind of. Someone that uses a microphone, but doesn't necessarily broadcast games. I'm taking Taylor Swift as my second pick.
I'm just shaking my head. No.
Just the round of applause.
Taylor Swift is my second pick.
I'm
As
wondering
much
what your third
as
pick's gonna be.
as much as we don't like the fact that the Chiefs are good and Taylor Swift is dating someone on the team, it's kind of been, I want to say, good for the NFL, maybe? Question mark. Do you guys think it's been good for the NFL?
It 100% has been because
Because it's brought people that never watch football, never had any desire to watch football, to start watching football.
Oh, 100%. Because the thing is, my little brother, he is a Swiftie. He's a big Taylor Swift fan. And he started watching Chiefs games because he wanted to see Taylor Swift. So he got into football because of her. When before he was like, I don't like football. Football is awful. Like, my parents are way too into it. My brother is way too into it. I'm going to go play Fortnite downstairs or whatever. And now he's just like, every time I talk to him, he's like super interested in, I mean, of course, Taylor Swift, but he's also more interested in football now, which is great because my entire family lives and breathes Bills. So even though he likes the Chiefs, I don't get it, but sure.
This is crazy.
But
net worth $1.1 billion.
And people think Taylor Swift is dating Kelsey for his money.
No.
That has been a thing that people have been saying, and it is just wrong.
No, yeah.
I feel like I know what Kelsey gets out of this because I just feel like he gets all this exposure now. But I just really don't, so I still believe it's a fake relationship.
Really?
I do believe that. I just don't know what she gets out of it because I know what he gets out of it, and I think there was something I read online, just her dating him and going to games. I think it's brought in like over $300 million for the Chiefs and NFL.
That's
as
crazy. That's so
it's something
much money.
insane just in a short amount of months. But I'm just
Taylor
so
Swift,
over it. But I also feel bad because she's just a girl trying to support her boyfriend. So it's not her fault, but I'm just so over it.
Oh, man.
The NFL's a little crazy about it because, heck, if Taylor Swift was at every game, fine, she's allowed to be. She is her own person. She's a billionaire. She can do whatever the fuck she wants.
That's great. She's a billionaire. Oh my
but
God.
But it's
she could own her own NFL team.
Oh, she could. 100%.
How many tickets do you think Taylor Swift could just buy every ticket in the stadium for the Super Bowl? What if What if it was just
I was
her
looking at that today.
by herself in the stadium watching the game?
So
I mean, if you spend
What's the average price of a ticket? Can we find that out?
So
we can do
Oh,
the
yeah,
math
right
like-
here.
now,
Also-
I am looking
Or
at
the-
so on the
for 9,000, right?
I'm looking at the Chiefs website right now for Chiefs tickets specifically, and they have a like kickoff club price, which
I'm
gets
talking
you,
about for the Super Bowl.
it gets you a Super Bowl ticket, access to the team party,
Oh, okay.
Super Bowl experience at Mandalay Bay, special experience with a Chief legend. I don't know who that man is. An all-inclusive tailgate event with an open bar.
I need a price. Give me a price.
50,000.
That's
50
50,000 to do that?
You think this is $50,000? This is per person $7,139.
No way.
That's pretty good.
Like that does not include getting to Vegas. That does not include getting
Sure.
your hotel.
Okay. I don't
That
care
is
about
just
that.
that is just going.
Okay.
And
But what's the
being a
average?
Chiefs fan.
I need to figure out what the average price of a Super Bowl ticket is. I
Oh,
feel like that's an easy Google. Average.
eBay.
No, I'm just Googling it. Okay. As of Wednesday, the average price of tickets sold on StubHub was $8,600. That's the average price. So if you take the average price, 8,600, times that by the amount of seats in the stadium, 65,000.
Oh yeah,
That's-
she could totally afford.
Yeah, she can afford. She can totally afford it.
She can
Okay,
buy the whole thing.
and she'd still have $400 million in change.
She could build her own stadium and host the Super Bowl, and still
That's
have
crazy
like,
how much money she has. Think about that for a second. That's like half of her net worth. She can rent out the entire Super Bowl.
yeah.
That's crazy. Okay.
It's
All right.
insane.
That's
It's
my
insane.
pick. That's my pick, Taylor Swift. That's mind-boggling to me. I don't think I'm ever gonna get over that.
Well, she's
I
your
have
pick.
to shout out one of my coworkers, Zoe, is a huge Taylor Swift fan, and I told her that I was probably going to pick Taylor Swift for this podcast, and she said that she might listen to it. So shout out. Yeah, cool. Do any of you have a favorite Taylor Swift song? No? Cool. Let's move on.
Dude, I used to drive to Taylor Swift every time
Really?
I do like, well, yeah. So like for Pokemon events back when I was in college. I mean, in college she was popular. So
Yeah.
like I remember when she first came out and she was in country, and I really appreciated her country music. And then she started going pop, and then she did a folk album. Like this woman can do no wrong. Like I like Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie by any means,
Yeah.
but she is really good for the music industry.
Yeah. She is the music industry.
Yeah.
Well, that's like she's just defying all the norms of the music industry, and like she's really paving the way for like modern musicians to make really good money.
I think my coworkers and I had a theory that she can probably do jazz rap as her next as her next
That's gonna be her breakup
next album is
with,
gonna be jazz rap.
It's gonna be jazz rap talking about how she broke up with Travis Kelce.
That's gonna be like the national anthem for the for like the football,
Breakup.
like the Sunday night football song is just gonna be hers. Like that's gonna be the song. Okay.
Imagining that would be hilarious.
For my Rushmore, I kind of want to just have like an empty stadium with Taylor Swift. It just has all the. No. I don't know why this just popped in my head. There was like a random like commercial that Taylor Swift was in. I think I want to say it was like a credit card commercial, where it was like,
those
oh, you
Capital
can.
One,
Is it Capital One?
I think it's Capital One.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have Taylor Swift in the 3 slot, asking like, "What's in your wallet?" Essentially.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. Also, I don't really have. I can't stand her music, but that's okay.
Really?
I can't stand it.
So you don't have a like you don't like any one of her like eras of Taylor Swift.
There's one song that I heard at a bar at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, oh, this is Taylor Swift, and like, oh, this actually sounds pretty good. So I don't know if it was because like I had been drinking that it sounded good, or if it was actually like a good song. But I
Was
also
it the alcohol, or is Taylor Swift actually good at writing music?
I don't remember what. Oh, I think it was Karma. Maybe. I'm gonna listen to it during the break.
Dude, we gotta Rushmore Taylor Swift now.
I am not Rushmoreing Taylor Swift.
I will gladly Rushmore Taylor Swift. I still want to Rushmore live.
Yeah, it was definitely Karma.
That's a whole other topic.
I think Karma is a pretty good song. That's my hot take for the episode. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, Karma. Yeah, Karma's cool. Karma is my boyfriend. Karma is a god. Karma is my bestie. Karma's a relaxing thought. Karma's gonna hold you down. Cool. All right, let's take a break, and we still have half of this to do, and it's actually that's kind of crazy. Like we've gone on a couple rants, and this was only supposed to be like an hour, and I think it's already an hour. So
we gotta speed this up.
We gotta speed this up a little bit. All right, we'll be right back.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, like 2 times miles on every purchase.
The noise canceling. You're being too loud. Thank you. Good choice. Ooh, my lucky number.
Earn 5 times miles on flights.
Enjoy your stay.
Going up?
And 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel. Plus, get access to over 1,300 airport lounges.
White wine, please.
And maybe see the one and only Taylor Swift. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
All right, we're back from our break, talking Super Bowl 58. That rhymed. I didn't even mean it to. Cool. So it's time for my third pick. And I'm going to go with someone who's probably not on either of your two lists, but I think he's a really good player. And I think
Please don't
could
take
have
my
a
fourth pick.
standout game. That's
Please
going to
don't
be
take my fourth
Brandon
pick.
Ayuk. Huh? What'd you say, Dan?
I was saying, don't take my fourth pick.
All right. Brandon Ayuk is going to be my pick. Wide receiver number 2 for the 49ers. Number 11. He's had a phenomenal season this year. And I think he's very underrated. He gets open. He finds himself open a lot because of the other amazing talent around him. But I mean, he had 1,342 yards this year, 7 touchdowns. Like that's crazy. That's really good. And yeah, I just think he's a good player. I don't have too much on him as like the other guys, but I know when, I don't want to say his name, but the wide receiver number 1 for the 49ers went down with injury. It's like, oh no. But Ayuk just kind of stepped right up and looked like a number 1 receiver for the team. So he continuously plays a lot of games each year. Like he only missed 1 game this year. Played 17 in 2022, played 17 in 2021. So like he's durable, and
He's done progressively good every year. Like
Yeah.
because he joined in
his rookie season was 2020.
20. So yeah, like he's been doing well. Like I again, I don't really watch too much San Francisco games, but just based on his stats, I don't know how he's not a QB or not a QB. How he's not wide receiver 1, honestly. Granted,
Well, it's because of who is number one.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
Right?
fair.
Like, their number one guy is very
why can't
good.
The Bills draft a wide receiver that can catch a ball. That's what I'm more mad about. Like,
yeah.
like SF wide receivers can catch a ball. We have Diggs, who's always never open, and Shakir, who catches the ball when Josh Allen finds Shakir.
Like, I'm super biased, right? I think T. Higgins is the best number 2 in the league, wide receiver. But I'm super biased because he's like my favorite player on the team and on my favorite team, right? So, and then probably Waddle on the Dolphins, and then probably Brandon Ayuk. Like, maybe Seattle, maybe Chargers, but like definitely top 5, number 2, I'd say, in the league.
Yeah, I give it to you. I like that.
I can easily see him getting 2 touchdowns this Super Bowl.
This Super Bowl?
Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all if he caught 2 touchdowns for, let's say, like 60 to 70 yards. Yeah.
I'm taller than this man. Holy heck.
I am the same height as this man. Jen, you have anything to add on Brandon Ayuk?
No, he was actually on my list as well.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh.
I just think he doesn't get the credit that he deserves.
I agree.
Yeah, very underrated. And I think in the last few games, he's made some very big catches that if he missed them, we probably wouldn't have won. So I feel like he's been a game changer for us.
Definitely. And I feel like I didn't really... I think I'm just going to say his name, Debo, because I want to keep saying wide receiver 1. Like, when Debo went down this year and missed some games, I think it really showed what the 49ers have in Brandon Ayuk. Like, because he stepped right up into that number 1 slot, and they didn't miss a beat. It's like, oh, Debo who? Like, this guy's fine. Don't get me wrong, Debo's great. Debo's a phenomenal player. But it's like, do we actually need him? Are we fine without him?
Do we need to spend all of this money?
Yeah. Like, for me, spend money on McCaffrey. Keep Kittle. I don't think Kittle's worth his contract, but I feel like he's just such an embodiment of the team that you kind of need to keep him.
I think Debo, didn't he get paid 2 years ago? I think he might have already got his contract.
Yeah, I think he did. But, like, I don't know, trade him? I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do with him.
I don't know, but I think there are stats that when he's not playing and he's out, we don't really win those games. Because I just feel like because he can run, he can catch, and he's such a big body that he also opens up a lot of possibilities for Ayuk.
No, 100%. Teams are more focused on him than Ayuk, which opens up Ayuk. But when Debo wasn't playing, it like they did just fine without him, Maybe the stats are saying otherwise, but just the eyeball test for me, just watching the games and seeing the games live, right? Didn't seem like it really hurt them that much. Debo played 15 games. I didn't realize that. I thought he played a lot less this year. Maybe he wasn't playing that many snaps in those games, but he played 15 games, so he was only out for 2 games.
Because the Packers went down really early, but that was postseason. But so I wonder if there were games where he just went out, like where he started, but then he went out. I'm not sure. I don't
know. Because it looks like games played 15, games started 15. So it could have easily been one of those things where he was kind of like a decoy in those games, or he only played like the first possession and then wasn't feeling it. But yeah, his yards way down this year. Like in 2021, he had. We shouldn't be talking about Debo. We'll talk about Debo if someone picks Debo.
Someone take
Yeah.
Debo.
Someone should pick him, but it's okay. So Brandon Ayuk is my pick, and I for all the reasons we talked about, I think he's going to be a key in this game.
Yeah.
So he's going to go in my 2 slot, and I don't know yet what I'm doing like picture wise for him. I will figure that out. Dan, on to your third pick.
So my third pick, I am picking not a player and not a coach. I am taking what is going to be the best Super Bowl performance ever. I'm taking SpongeBob.
Hell yeah. He was on my honorable mentions.
Who needs Usher when we can just watch SpongeBob do Sweet Victory during halftime?
100%.
I am 100% gonna watch the Nickelodeon broadcast of the Super Bowl halftime show just so I can watch SpongeBob do Sweet Victory.
I'm shocked this is the first year that Nickelodeon is having a broadcast, right? Like a live broadcast for the Super Bowl?
This is their first year of doing the
Okay.
Super Bowl. I think this is their third season total of doing football
Got it.
for kids.
But I'm just shocked that this is the first time that SpongeBob has even been considered for like the Super Bowl, right? Like, because that episode, that Sweet Victory episode, is probably one of the best SpongeBob. I just off the top of my head is probably one of the best SpongeBob episodes there were.
Dude, is mayonnaise an instrument? Like, I'm pretty sure I can still quote that episode today, and I don't think I've seen it in like 10 years.
I'm gonna have to watch that before I go to bed.
It's so good.
It's a
Like,
great
honestly,
episode.
I miss SpongeBob. I miss old SpongeBob. Watching new SpongeBob is weird.
They
But-
stopped. They stopped making. I'm pretty sure they stopped. Right?
Yeah, recently.
Pretty recent. Yeah.
I mean, it's still it does still say it's running, which
Yeah.
it technically is. It's still running, but I don't think Nickelodeon's ever gonna stop with SpongeBob.
Yeah. SpongeBob's. I mean,
Dude, big.
so good.
Yeah, honestly.
So random too. When you like really like stop and think about it, it's kind of bizarre. Like how a lot of Nickelodeon shows are, but like wait, it's just a sponge that has pants and
Yep.
he makes Krabby Patties. And he lives in a pineapple
Under the Sea.
under the sea. Jen, you have any thoughts on Dan's third pick here?
I honestly did not really grow up watching SpongeBob, so
Wow,
Ooh. Okay.
fighting
I
words.
just know it's a pineapple that lives under the sea.
Yeah. Dan, what's your favorite SpongeBob character?
Oh God, my favorite SpongeBob character. It has to be between the my leg guy and y'all remember. I don't think Jen's gonna remember this episode. So the episode where they're selling chocolate.
Oh, of
It's
course.
the guy who was born with glass bones and paper skin. that man I relate to so hard now as an adult.
That should be. We should do a Rushmore on
Non-main character SpongeBob.
non-main
Non-main character
SpongeBob characters. That would be a really good
Yeah.
one. I think my favorite character is the Frying Dutchman guy.
Oh, the Flying Dutchman? Yeah.
The Frying Dutchman.
The Frying Dutchman?
Isn't that what it's called? Wait,
No,
is
it's
it?
the Flying Dutch? It's the Flying Dutchman.
You sure?
Yes.
I'm looking it up. Flying Dutchman.
Don't
You
worry,
sure?
Captain. We'll butch it. We'll
You sure?
buff out those scratches. Yes, it's literally the Flying Dutchman. It's Flying Dutchman
The
SpongeBob.
Flying
that.
Dutchman is a recurring character. Okay, you're right. Was there an episode? Was there an episode called Frying Dutchman? Whatever. This is fine.
Frying Dutchman.
I don't know. I don't know where I got that. I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense. SpongeBob is a fry cook.
Yeah. Whatever. It's okay. Cool. That was a great pick. Jen, time for your. Oh, Dan, what are you doing with your Rushmore?
I am putting SpongeBob at the second spot.
Second
Because I
spot.
can't. Because I never remember. It's Andrew Jackson, right?
It is not Andrew Jackson. It's Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson, Dan.
Jeff.
Thomas Jefferson.
Andrew Jackson.
You should get a Rushmore tattoo. You just have his face. So you never forget. Have it like
I'm just
labeled.
never gonna learn it. Honestly, at this point, it's just a running joke. At this point, that I just don't remember what the Rushmore is, and
You
it's
should just say
literally
different
our
presidents. Like put it in the
intro. My second spot's Obama.
Yeah, put it in the Obama spot.
I'm gonna put it in the Richard Nixon spot.
Oh
Number 2.
God. Oh. Okay.
The tricky dick spot.
Cool.
God.
Great, Dan. We got through it. Jen, time for your third and fourth pick.
Since you didn't pick Debo Samuel, I'll pick Debo Samuel since you took Brandon Ayuk from me.
Cool.
I don't have much to say about him, but I do feel like he also changes the game for us.
Yeah.
And then just looking at his stats, they said he had 892 receiving yards with 527 of those coming after the catch. So I just feel like he's just a hustler. Like, he just doesn't go down. He's just going to keep his legs going. He's going to keep churning. He's just going to try to get extra yards.
Definitely.
And then he also has 225 rushing yards. So altogether, he has over 1,000 yards. And I just think he is also a difference maker. And I just also like, I don't know if you watched video of him when he's coming out of the tunnel before the game. I just feel like he just gets the whole team hyped up. He's just like bouncing around. They're coming out with their boombox, getting them all hyped.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think he had 5 rushing touchdowns this year. He had 8. That's crazy. In 2021, he had 8 rushing touchdowns. That's crazy for a wide receiver. He had more rushing touchdowns than receiving touchdowns in 2021. He only had 7 receiving touchdowns this year. 12
So
overall. 2022, he had more rushing touchdowns than receiving touchdowns. Yeah. I guess when they give him the ball, like he's kind of like a running back in some aspects because he does get so many after the catch yards, right? So.
And I guess the other thing is he's just a very selfless player. I feel like he blocks for his teammates.
Yeah. That's what the 49ers do really well is all the positions can block too. Like you see George Kittle blocking obviously, but he can also catch the ball, and you can see Debo's always blocking, and McCaffrey
Yeah.
can block if he needs to. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
all those guys. Yeah,
Out there, like Ayuk's out there blocking. Our
yeah,
other wide receiver, Juwan Jennings, he's out there blocking. I just feel like they're all very selfless.
yeah.
I forgot who it was this year where they kind of got ripped on for not blocking for their running back. And I think he just basically said something was just like, I'm not going to put my body out on the line for that.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know who you're talking about, but I mean, I feel like a lot of wide receivers have that.
Jeez.
What?
Just has that mentality of just like, nah, don't wanna.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I'm not going to put my body on the line, type of thing. Yeah.
It was George Pickens. I just
Oh,
Googled.
that makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. But then I think in the next game, I think it was George Pickens not blocking for Jalen Warren, but I think in the next game, I don't know if Warren blocked for him. I think something like that happened. But anyways, yeah, so I just think our team, especially with Debo, they're just very selfless people where they're just out there putting their bodies for, the greater good.
Definitely. Yeah, good pick. I like it. I think he's a solid player. He wasn't on my list. I was only going to take. I just wanted Brandon Ayuk over him. I personally like Brandon Ayuk better as like a fan. Like I like him better.
Yeah.
But Debo's a phenomenal player. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. No, I agree with Ayuk. I think Ayuk just made some really big catches like on third downs this year for us. So I think that was a solid pick. But since you took him, I had to pick Samuel.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know what my. I seem to really like a lot of number 2 receivers. I guess like T Higgins is my favorite player right now. Brandon Ayuk I really like. I don't know. Not sure why I have this. Maybe because it's like fantasy football. It's like that's where the getting a player that's usually like the number twos on the team are way less money wise, so they're good value.
Oh yeah,
picks,
you get a lot more value out of them.
Yeah, maybe that's why I like number 2 receivers. Anyways, what you doing with your Rushmore?
I'll have Debo in the number 1 spot holding the boombox.
Nice, I like it.
And then
And
I guess
then
I get my
time for
last pick.
Yeah, your 4th pick.
Okay. I'm going to go with who I think is the most handsome man on the Niners. I'm going to go with Nick Bosa, who is now a Skims underwear model.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I was wondering if anyone was going to pick Nick Bosa or anyone on defense for that matter. Yeah, he's a very, very, very good player.
Has anyone picked a Chiefs player yet?
I kind of
think
did
so.
with Taylor Swift.
I mean,
Well, you picked Andy Reid, but I mean,
That's true.
he's not a player. He's not a
but-
player. He's not a player.
Yeah. Did you pick someone on the Chiefs?
I just might.
I picked someone
No.
dating a Chiefs player.
That doesn't count.
You picked SpongeBob. I love
yeah,
how
he's not a player.
I know, but I just love how like SpongeBob and Taylor Swift went before any Chiefs player.
Look, we've done enough Rushmores where the Chiefs are even involved.
I think we just don't want the Chiefs to do well. Like, right? Like we're hoping they
We are-
lose. So
we are all on the 49ers win this thing train.
Definitely.
So.
I have only one on my piece of paper here. I only have one Chiefs player written down.
Ooh,
And I don't even know if I'm going to pick it.
I might just steal it. You never know.
The person I have written down is not who you have in mind.
Try me. I have the next pick. So
All right. But
Anything
we're
else on
currently
Nick Bosa?
talking about Nick Bosa. Jen's pick. Nick Bosa, 6'4", 266 pounds.
underwear model.
This man
Yeah.
is massive. Like, can you imagine
Google
trying to
this
block him? I would.
Jesus, that man is brawlic. Shows you
I
how much
feel-
49ers games I've won. And I went to one live.
I feel like. So, out of NFL players, if there's like a gladiator thing, right? Where, say we're back in Roman times, and it's just like fight to your death type of thing. You just get like a sword, shield. Like, who would beat Nick Bosa in the NFL, in the current NFL, in like a gladiator fight?
TJ Watt?
Maybe.
I was gonna say Miles Garrett, I guess.
Miles Garrett's a
Ooh.
good one. Yeah, I think I would go with Miles Garrett. I agree with that. That's a good one. Yeah. But I mean, but Nick Bosa would have to be in the top 5, right? In this hypothetical thing.
I think definitely. Top 3, maybe.
Top 3. I mean, the ones we named, the ones that you both named are pretty solid. I think I would take Nick Bosa over Watt. I mean,
Oh,
I think Watt's a better NFL player than Bosa. It's pretty close. It's close, but I think Watt's a better NFL player than Bosa. But
I think this year. I think, yeah. I don't know if Watt has more sacks than Bosa this year, but I
don't
think
know.
Watt was better this year.
Watt was basically the entire Steelers defense.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree with that.
he was
And
the
offense.
Steelers. It was
Yeah, he was.
he was
He
the
was
Steelers.
literally the equivalent of Lamar Jackson for the
Yeah,
Ravens.
I agree
for a
with
good
that
chunk of the
100%. Yep, I 100% agree with
year. Man is a tugboat.
that.
Puts the team on his back.
Yeah. Went to Ohio State. He's been in the league for 5 years. Was he hurt this year a little bit? No,
I don't think he was.
doesn't look like it. That's interesting to me. He only had 34 solo tackles this year. I just feel like it would be more than that. Does a sack count as a tackle? Yes, right? Like if you
That-
get a
I don't-
sack,
I
if
would
you get a
s-
sack,
actually-
does that also count as like getting a tackle?
I think it would.
Because you're tackling the guy. Like,
Yeah. You are tackling him, but he does have 10.5 sacks.
yeah, that's a lot. I mean, but he had 18 and a half last year. I feel like this was a down year for him.
Yeah,
It's clearly a regression. No.
he
I
was
don't
the
know.
defensive player of the year last year.
So it's kind of
Yeah,
hard
he had-
to.
18 and a half last year, and then he got his big contract.
It's weird because I felt like as soon as they got who's the new guy, Chase Young?
Yeah.
As soon as they got Chase Young, I felt like that was gonna free up space for Bosa to do more work, right? But that clearly hasn't happened. Chase Young's also from Ohio State. I think they were on the same team together.
They were team. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Oh my
Okay.
god, they were
Cool.
teammates.
That's crazy to think. I guess it's the same thing with the Bengals with also Chase and Chase and Joe. Burrow and Chase. Yeah. I think you just don't see that in the NFL that much where two teammates end up being teammates on
in the NFL.
2 college teammates end up being teammates in the NFL. Yeah.
I feel like that started to become more of a trend, really. Like,
Well, I think
a lot
when
of teams have started doing it.
when they saw Burrow and Chase have such good chemistry together, like they're like, oh,
Yeah, they already had good chemistry, so it makes sense, especially off of their in their rookie seasons. You want them to perform,
yeah,
and since they already have the chemistry, you just put them out there and make it work.
yeah.
On the defense, it's a little different, but it does make it does make a difference.
But they know how
when
to, they know how to play off of
when
each
you're-
other. You know,
Exactly. It's I would probably consider it to be similar to the Bills with our safeties, where those two are really close friends, so they just know how to play, and that's what made our defense so strong. But I mean, they were both injured at different times, so boo-hoo. But again,
boo-hoo.
gotta stop talking about the Bills. Gotta focus on.
Yeah, we have to stop talking about the Bills and Bengals. Cool, great pick, Jen. Anything else you want to say?
No, that's it.
Cool. What's your Rushmore looking like for Nick Bosa?
I'm gonna put him in the number 4 slot, and he's just gonna do a signature move where he's just shrugging after he gets his little sackaroonie.
Sackaroonie.
I love it. I love it.
Cool. All right, Dan. Time for your final pick.
Okay, so I'm gonna break the trend. I am gonna pick a player.
Your first
Boo.
player. Your first player on your Rushmore.
The first and only player on my Rushmore. But actually, I don't know if he's going to be on the Rushmore because I am picking
What?
Kadarius Toney. The best
Who?
the best Chiefs player to ever exist in the history of Chiefs.
Is that the
players.
guy that keeps on fumbling it?
I was gonna say he has great
not only keeps fumbling it, but is the reason why the Bills won against the Chiefs this year. He's the guy who was like 2 yards off the line of scrimmage.
I love this pick so much.
I'm picking him just because look, he has 1 touchdown this year, 27 receptions, only 169 yards. Nice. But I actually didn't know he was the number 1 draft pick in 2021, or 20th first round pick, 20th overall. I did not know that he was a first round pick by the Giants.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't find this
According
guy
to his
on
biography.
I can't find him.
If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of their of the Chiefs roster page, and you just go all the way down to the bottom, he is also their return player. So he's the one who catches the return and takes the returns.
At the very bottom, I'm seeing Garrett Prince from the practice squad.
Oh, if you go to the depth chart from there, he is the
And go
punt
all the way to the
returner,
bottom.
and he is the second string kick returner.
Kadarius Toney.
Darius Toney.
There he is.
25.
There's
went to
number
Florida.
19. Now I see him.
Didn't they
Doing the-
not allow him to play last week?
Yeah, well, he's technically injured.
Oh,
Oh, I thought he was I also thought there's something listed personal reasons or something.
Oh yeah, he just had a kid.
Oh, I thought it was
Oh.
because he sucked.
that also reminds me with George Kittle. It says questionable on the thing. I'm just like, there's no way this guy isn't playing. Get that questionable out of here.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no.
This guy
honestly,
is
I feel
not
like
missing
players
the Super Bowl.
There's no way in hell a player would miss the Super Bowl, especially if you can walk. I feel like you would
Yeah.
want to play.
Right? It's limited in practice today. Has a toe, his toes bothering him. Are you? No, this guy is playing in the Super Bowl. Stop. Get that cue out of here.
He's retiring.
Yeah.
After
I
that,
think you're right.
dude, toe injuries are the worst.
So, this year, I guess it doesn't show. There's no stat that says this guy caused the interception, right? The interception was this guy's fault, right? So there's no stat on that. He only fumbled once this year, but
But I think it was the dropped catches.
it's the dropped
It's
catches that
It's
really
a lot of drop catches this
a
season.
lot of drop catches, and yeah, that not just drop catches, but balls that should have been caught that ended up being intercepted. Is the big one.
Like, he's just had not a great season. Granted, he hasn't played like last year he was better apparently. He had 2 touchdowns, 171 yards total. Like, it's not like he's not changing how the Chiefs play, but at least he can sometimes catch a ball and stay on sides. Sometimes.
I just loved how upset Patrick Mahomes was when when they lost that game against the Bills. Like, he was so, like, he was going crazy.
Yeah. And then
Like,
just him
dude,
complaining
chill.
to, like, Josh Allen. I'm like, I don't think Josh Allen cares.
Yeah.
That man has other problems to worry about.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
It's also
That-
it's
that
also
is my-
hilarious that Patrick Mahomes is not going to end up on any of our Rushmore, and he's like clearly probably the best
Hell
player.
no. Get that man out of here. I don't want him on my Rushmore.
I don't want him on my Rushmore. All right. Well, I think we've talked about this guy enough.
Yeah. All right.
What you gonna do with your Rushmore?
I know exactly what I'm doing with my Rushmore. So, Kadarius Toney is going in the Teddy Roosevelt spot, but the Teddy Roosevelt spot has actually shifted all the way past the George Washington spot. So, so just imagine on a Rushmore, you take George Washington, Andrew Jackson, Thomas Jefferson, whoever the fuck it is, blank spot. Like, they just kind of plucked Roosevelt out of there and plopped him next to George Washington. I am gonna have Kadarius Toney in his, like, lineup stance
You're not making any sense
over
to me,
there.
but
Wait,
you
how
do
does this
you.
not make sense? How does this not make
I don't know.
sense?
It's 2:04 in the morning is how it doesn't make sense.
Oh, fair enough. But yes,
right.
I'm putting Kadarius Toney at the -1 spot, way off sides. Then George Washington is Andy Reid. Second spot is SpongeBob singing "Sweet Victory." And
Did I
then
ask for your full Rushmore? I don't think I did.
No, but it is the last one, and you typically do. So
We typically do after all the
you
picks.
No, you typically ask after everyone's done, and then we recap it.
Yeah.
Cut this out.
Are we currently recapping right now, sir?
I don't
No.
know.
I still
just
have
finished.
a pick. I still have a pick. So I'm gonna pick my final
Who,
pick.
yeah. Who are you picking, Troy? Who are you taking? Did I take your pick with Kadarius
You
Toney?
did not, but I do like the pick.
Darn.
Honestly, Dan, one of your best Rushmores ever. I'm just gonna say that right now. You got 2 coaches. You got SpongeBob, and you
Got a
have
sponge.
a petty pick, or like not a petty. That's the wrong word. Well, kind of. Yeah,
Look,
like
he's the reason. He's
like
the,
a
he's the
salty
best
Bills fan pick.
He
Essentially,
is the best Bills player I've ever seen.
For my last pick, I am going with a player on the Chiefs. It's
Shocker.
not Patrick Mahomes. It's not Taylor Swift's boyfriend. I'm picking Harrison Butker, the kicker, for the Chiefs. I think he's a really good player. Obviously, he's a really good kicker, and I have lots of trauma because of this person in particular. Because I mean, during the game last year where the refs let the Chiefs have 5 downs. And then Harrison Butker was kicked like a 50-yard field goal to end the game or something. So yeah, lots of trauma.
The man's got a leg.
But you can't deny the fact that he's like a really, really good kicker. And I think this game's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. Like, I think this game's going to be close. And I could easily see the game, like a field goal late, being extremely important, or like
factor.
Yeah, exactly. So like I think I mean, obviously Patrick Mahomes like is very important. Like, depending on how he plays, is going to determine how this game goes, really. But I do think that Butker is extremely important for the Chiefs. So, yeah, I think it's gonna. He's an important player. That's all I can say. Number 7. Why aren't kickers number 3 more? Why isn't that a trend?
Like the number 3, like that's
Yeah.
the number on the jersey.
Why isn't there number 3? If I was a kicker, I would want to be number 3.
I'm just happy that they let players now pick number 0. I thought that was a fun change.
I could have sworn that he was number 1 at one point. Butker? I thought he was number 1 at one point, but
I don't know. Now he's number 7.
he's definitely 7 right now. So maybe I'm just imagining things. That's fine. It's okay. He kicked. Okay, I'm gonna go through his longest kicks on his stat sheet, year by year. All right. 2017, 53, 18, 54, 19, 56, 2020, 58, 21. He hit a 56-footer, and then we're like, okay. 2022, he kicked a 62-foot field goal. 2023, 60-foot field goal. Like, that's crazy. My mind can't comprehend kicking a ball that far.
That hard.
Jen, you have anything to add about good old Harrison?
No, I do agree. Kickers are very important, and our kicker makes me super nervous. But I wish we had a solid kicker.
Yeah.
I can now relate to that with Bass.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was brutal.
I still have full faith in the man. That man can do no wrong. I love Tyler Bass.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel bad for him, but
like, so being in the division with the Ravens and then having Justin Tucker for the last like 20 years.
yeah.
It's so upsetting. Like, oh, yeah, we stopped them at the 50-yard line, but this man could still kick a 60-yard field goal. like
there's no stopping him.
It's so depressing. Like, oh, nice stop. Oh, but they're still going to get 3 points. Like, it's incredibly frustrating when you play against a team that has a good kicker. And I mean, the Bengals kicker's pretty good. Like, but like, he's no Justin Tucker, and he's not had the degree of good stuff that Harrison Butker has had. So,
yeah.
Isn't it McPherson? I want to say is the guy's name, the Bengals kicker. He's good.
McPherson's good. Yeah,
he's good. Don't get me wrong, he's good, and I'm glad he's on the team. But he's not Justin Tucker. You know, like,
he's not Tyler Bass level. No.
I want a Justin Tucker.
Everyone would love a Justin Tucker.
Can I just get a guy that plays for 20 seasons and just like lives and dreams and exists to kick field goals for my team?
Has above a 90% percentage make, and
it's absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
I swear, I was hoping like Robbie Gould would have just came back. Like, I don't understand
Yeah.
why you have to retire. I wish
Robbie
you just
Cole was
played.
good.
He was.
He was a good kicker. All right. Well, that's kind of a wrap, right? We all have our picks. Harrison Butker. I'm gonna have him kicking. About to kick. Yeah. Nothing too fancy. Let's go in reverse order, starting with Jen. What's your Rushmore?
I have Debo Samuel at number 1 with him holding the boombox. Number 2 was Brock Purdy wiping his hands before he throws.
I need to watch that clip. If you remember, send me that. If you can find it,
Yeah.
send me that clip.
Okay. Number 3 is Christian McCaffrey holding his finger up, saying, "Just give me a minute." And then number 4 is Nick Bosa doing his signature shrug after a sack.
In his underwear.
I don't mind that. That's fine too.
All right. Dan, what's your Rushmore?
Yes. So
This
for
is,
me,
Dan, this is the part where you say your full Rushmore.
oh,
I know you've only been on a couple
How many-
episodes, but yeah,
this is basically my first episode.
basically.
Not- so I am going to I'm putting Andy Reid at number 1. I'm putting SpongeBob singing "Sweet Sweet Victory." Number 3, Kadarius Toney is well off sides and is actually positioned right next to and or behind Andy Reid. And then I got Shanahan at number 4.
Awesome. Very, very good Rushmore, Dan. Very, very good. Jen, yours is great too, but I'm kind of surprised and delighted at Dan's Rushmore because
I'm glad I can
Yeah.
impress you with my Rushmores now, where they're no longer. Let's like, oh Dan, that's just so bad. Like, why would you pick the freaking Elf Browns logo?
it's no ball bearings. You know, it's a.
Hey, ball bearings is a good one.
I lost my mind with that pick. All right.
LCD screen, like ooh.
Troy, what's your Rushmore? Oh, thanks. My Rushmore is in the 1 slot we have George Kittle doing his. He has the shirt, "Fuck the Cowboys," and he has those glasses that Dan talked about on, and he's doing his signature like first down little pose thing with his hand, and then I see Jen just sent me a clip. Thank you, Jen. In the 2 slot, we have Brandon Ayuk. He's just catching the ball. He's jumping up in the air, catching the ball, catching a football.
Hell yeah.
Actually, he's catching a flat ball. He's catching a frisbee. Why not? Yeah. Why not?
It's not a real ball.
He's catching a flat ball.
It's not a real ball.
In the 3 slot, we have Taylor Swift in the Capital One commercial, and she's asking, "What's in your wallet?" In the 4 slot, we have Harrison Butker, just kind of like hands in pocket, like ready to kick like a 62-yard field goal. Why not? That's my Rushmore. Do we have any honorable mentions? Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
Who else? Yeah, honestly, the rest of the Chiefs are kind of just there.
Fred Warner is a pretty important guy. Is he hurt? Is he still hurt? Is he playing?
No, I think he's healthy, I believe.
Okay, but he's been hurt, right? No?
Or are you thinking of Hufanga? Hufanga's
Maybe.
been out.
I don't know. I don't know who I'm thinking of. No. He's had a good. No, Fred Warner's had a good season. Okay. I don't know why I thought he was hurt, but he's good. He's really good. Yeah, that's kind of it. I really hope the 49ers win. I don't want the Chiefs to win. Like,
Yeah, honestly.
I'll be so sad. Like if the Chiefs win again.
Okay, Troy, my only question for you right now is what do you think the score is going to be, and what prop bet do you think is going to be
prop bet?
Your winner this year?
Go to prop bet. I would love to see a scoregami. Honestly, is kind of the prop bet that I'm going with this year. Let me keep talking. What's your go-to prop bet? I'm gonna find the odds of the scoregami real quick.
Honestly, I need to look up what good prop bets are this year, because like I mean, there's always like the common ones of like how long the national anthem's gonna be, what's the result of the coin flip, if there's gonna be a first play touchdown.
What's a scoregami?
Ooh, good question, Jen.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. So scoregami is basically the goal is we want to fill up all of the possible scoring outcomes for each team for all of football. So like we've already had like a 0-0 game, but we haven't had a 1-1 game or a 2-2 game or a 3-3 game. And then you just go down the line. So if we can get a score where the scoregami, what's the most realistic scoregami we could get?
Well, for example, the Dolphins game this year was a scoregami because they scored a ridiculous amount of points.
Yeah. I'm still shocked that the Raiders game wasn't a scoregami either. How was that not a scoregami game?
I have no idea.
Because they scored what? How many points?
Was it not a scoregami?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
How many points did they score?
I have no idea.
Yeah, because like the Denver September 2023 was a 70-20 scoregami. Then we had in 1950 a 70-27 against the Rams and Colts.
So the scoregami on was this DraftKings is currently plus 2,000. So a $5 bet would get you $105, which I think is a pretty good. Like I think I might bet that. I think I might put $5 on scoregami.
I would put $5 in a scoregami. I think like one of the most realistic one that I see on the scoregami chart. I think it would have to be what? There is someone could get 4-3. That has not been a score yet.
That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. I think the most realistic one that could happen is like, I don't think it's going to be a blowout, so it can't be like 46-0 or 50-0. Maybe 32-11. 32-8. Like there's a couple in there. There are still a couple of scoregamis that
26-32. Like I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, fair. I would love to see a 9-9.
25-18. That's never happened.
How has there not been a 9-9 game?
I don't know. But with the Super Bowl, there has to be a winner. Like the game can't tie.
Yeah,
so obviously
exactly. That's why I'm like, that's why I'm like, I'm looking through all the ones that can't be ties.
32-22, 32-19, 32-26. Like I think those are all.
I'm shocked there hasn't been a game that's 32-32 tied.
I'm not shocked. Jen has like no idea what we're talking about now. That's okay.
I still don't understand overs and unders and betting and all that. So.
Yeah. Oh, the betting side.
Yeah.
Does scoregami now make sense? Where we're
No,
trying
I have
to...
no clue, and it's way too late for me to try to understand it. Well,
It's fine.
I
it's
literally
fine.
sent the link
It's okay. Yeah.
of how it works.
I was trying to Google it, but it
I
just
think
looked
Dan
way too
did a.
complicated
I
now
think
this
Dan
time.
did a
I didn't do a great
mediocre
job
job of explaining it.
Yeah.
Essentially, a scoregami. It's like. Now that I'm trying to explain it, it's hard to explain without. I'm not doing it. I don't think I can do a good job of explaining it.
Yeah.
But I think Dan did a mediocre
It is
job.
literally just doing. It is trying to do all of the possible score outcomes in a game of football.
Yes.
That's the whole point of it. Is we want to fill the scoregami for all the possible point differences between teams.
There's a chart. Essentially, there's a chart of. I'm just gonna literally read the frequently asked questions. What is a scoregami? Scoregami is a concept thought up by John Boyes. It is the art of building final scores that have never happened before in NFL history. Due to the unique nature of how points are scored in American football, where it is impossible to score 1 point on its own, as well as its rarity of the 2-point safety and 8-point touchdown and 2-point conversion, there are a lot of scores that are possible but have never happened. Yeah, that makes sense. So like there's a lot of scores that could technically happen, but you just don't really see it. Like, example 32-26. Like, it's kind of tough to get 32 points. And 26 is kind of also like a weird number. So, yay, scoregami. And that's our TED Talk. I think we should probably end the episode.
Nah, we can keep this going forever.
This was supposed to be a shorter episode. Clearly, that was not the case.
And it never is.
But I greatly enjoyed having you both on. Jen, we need to do this more, and if you want, at least. I'm not gonna force you. But it was good having you on the Turtle episode, and then fun hearing your knowledge and about the 49ers. And good luck to the 49ers this weekend. Dan, of course, it's always a pleasure to have you on. And
I love being here.
And yeah, so there's really only one more question. This is the part where you ask me what that question is.
The question? What's the question?
What's in your wallet? See what I did there? Well, what's your Rushmore? All right. Oh. Yay, we did it. We finished.
Bon voyage.